Welcome to another edition of Pants Optional. It's Pop Cult HQ's Zoom interview segment where we interview comic book industry professionals who are still doing remarkable things during this pandemic and sort of shutdown time for the industry. Today, I am thrilled. I have the writer of such titles as BattleCats, WOLVENHEART, Knights of the Golden Sun, and Honor and Curse, as well as the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Creative Officer of Mad Cave Studios, Mark London. Mark, welcome.
Thank you, Jason. It's great to be here, man. Thank you.
Hey, glad to have you. You're in Florida, right?
Yes, sir, in Miami.
Oh, right on. What's the weather like doing there? I know it's looking like things are heating up around the country.
Absolutely. It's been raining a lot lately, but it's humid as hell. So not a great combination.
That's not a fun rain.
No. No. But yeah, hopefully next week we'll get some nicer weather.
Okay. Well, there has been some bright spots with what you and Mad Cave Studios has been doing. Recently, you had the Mad Cave Studio Showcase. It was a virtual event that you put on, and you announced 4 big projects slated for this fall in October and November, naming titles Hollywood Trash, Villainous, Pantomime, and Terminal Punks. Let's talk about these new titles. I mean, these are brand new titles. You got some, looking over the creative teams, especially your colorists and letterers. You just got some great people on there, but it looks like some fantastic projects coming up. What can you briefly tell us about each of these titles that people can look forward to this fall?
Well, it's good that you're bringing it up, Jason, because a lot of the titles and what Mad Cave Studios really wants to achieve is to work with the best possible talent out there. So these 4 titles, the good thing is that 2 of the titles are written by talent search winners, which is basically something that Mad Cave Studios has also been doing for the past 2 years now, which is trying to give the opportunity to folks that are writers, artists. We might be looking into colorists in the future, but we started with writers and artists for them to get a published title. So we have this huge talent search over the summer, and their work has been fantastic. So 2 of the books that we announced in the showcase, which is Hollywood Trash, it's by one of last year's talent search winners, and Villainous, it's also one of the writer. It's actually the writer that won 2018 by the artist that also won 2018. But he also got another book, which was Show's End. So 2 of these books are by talent search winners.
Wow.
And the other two titles, which are basically Pantomime and Terminal Punks, are by veterans of the industry. Christopher Sabella is writing Pantomime. Right. He's done Crowded, Shanghai Red for Image Comics. And Terminal Punks, we have Matthew Ehrman, which he's done work for Care Bears. He's writing Power Rangers now, Long Lost, Dark Crystal. So we basically just have like a very good mix of strong talent there, and also the artists that are spearheading Terminal Punks and Pantomime are also very, very well-known guys, which is Shelby Criswell doing Terminal Punks, and we do have David Stoll on Pantomime. So yeah, so we got a nice mix there with talent search winners and seasoned writers, and we're very happy that these are the next 4 titles that are going to be launched by Mad Cave Studios very soon.
And from what I've seen, not only are these going to be available on the Mad Cave Studios website, but they're also going to be released physical copies on the same day.
Absolutely. And since we started, Jason, we've been supporting the retailers. We think that the comic book industry is the heart of our industry. So we basically have our titles are digital, and sometimes you can get them through Cosmixology, but really we prefer people to go and support their local comic book shop. So yes, so all these titles are hopefully are going to see the light of day, and you're going to be able to get them at your local comic book shop.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know there's a big thirst for that with seeing this industry kick back up and kind of resume the weekly grind and new comic book days. And you just mentioned the Mad Cave talent search. That was actually a great segue into my next question. Because you guys had just announced the third annual,
Correct.
which this year will feature 6 winners to take
Mm-hmm.
part in a debut anthology for Mad Cave.
Correct.
And it looks like the contest June 1st through September 1st is when
Correct.
people can get entries in.
Mm-hmm.
So how's this? So you're 6 winners. You're choosing 3 artists, 3 writers, and like this, where you mentioned Hollywood Trash and Villainous were
Mm-hmm.
past winners. They're all going to come and collaborate on an anthology for you.
Correct, Jason. That's we know how hard this is. We know that sometimes getting your voice out there, getting your to try to start making a name for yourself is hard. So that's really why we do it. We try to identify folks out there that really have what it takes to either have a successful, well-constructed, professionally written, drawn comic book, you name it, and that's really what we're trying to do. So this year, in the past, we've given this artists and writers a series of their own. This year, because we've been very blessed by this, Mad Cave Studios has grown a lot since the past 2 years. So now we have a lot of titles under development, and we don't have enough editors. So we need to try to go the anthology route, but it's going to be a very cool anthology because we want to give a shot to new voices out there, new creative talent out there, and also maybe some writers from either past talent search or again seasoned writers like Sabella and Irwin who might be willing to participate in the anthology. I don't know.
Sure.
We'll see the roster that we can build from here till the product actually starts like getting ready.
Well, it looks like you guys have you really got it together, and a lot of people are interested in not only what you're doing with this, but just a talent search. It's not not many publishers do that. Top Cow I think is probably most famous
Mm-hmm.
for their talent search, but it's nice that you're giving you're affording these opportunities for you're as of right now unknown talent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a wonderful thing that you guys are doing at Mad Cave. Now, a little more personal, still professional though. As a writer, your medieval fantasy comic book BattleCats you've released 2 volumes and is 2 issues into the Tales of Valderia. Is that correct?
Correct, Jason. Tales of Valderia is basically what is going to be like your fix between seasons. So while we start volume 3, which it was supposed to be released at the end of the year, that is going on. Probably we're just going to have to push it maybe a couple of months, but still happening. Still the work is being done. Already Micah Mello and Tequino, they're already good 2 issues in of the last volume. So BattleCats Tales of Valderia is supposed to give you snippets or try to give you a little bit more backstory on the actual lore that we created with BattleCats. So we released 2 issues of Tales of Valderia. It's actually 4. We had to stop, but now next week, hopefully we're gonna see Tales of Valderia 3. Next month we're gonna see Tales of Valderia 4, and then wait a couple of yeah, I mean, yeah, wait a few months till we see volume 3.
But 3 and 4 people can pre-order now.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. People can
awesome.
pre-order now. The best way is just to contact your local comic book shop and ask them to reserve a copy for you, get it on your pull list.
Right.
That's the best way to do it.
And then also your time traveling monster slaying series, Wolvenheart. Uh, did I read this right? Is this
Yeah.
the number issue 7's the final issue?
Yes, it's the final issue for it's basically the final issue of the first arc.
Okay.
But also the artist Alejandro Giraldo has also started work on volume 2, so that's also
Okay.
going to be very, very interesting. That one is a little bit further away, but we'll see if we can even probably see it in the first semester of 2021.
Okay.
We'll
Well,
see.
we'll definitely get people directed to your website. They can check out the first 6 issues available at
Absolutely.
Mad Cave's website, and you can
Absolutely.
pre-order the final issue as well.
Mm-hmm.
With all this stuff out, and I know the time of year it is, it's Ringo season. Do you have any? What titles does Mad Cave have available that are eligible for to be nominated?
Well, we contact the guys from Ringo. That was actually Chris Fernandez, which is our publisher. He's been in talks with them. But basically, with the Ringo Awards, what you do is that you postulate yourself. You send them a few copies of the titles that you consider that are strong, I guess, and it's up to them. It's up to them what we decide. I mean, we feel very proud of so far the work that we've been doing, with Show's End, with Over the Ropes, which are also other titles by Mad Cave Studios, RV9. I'm sure that Chris Fernandez is like getting a few of those together if he hasn't done so already, and see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Okay, awesome. Something else I felt it was important to point out. Not only are you still moving forward, you're dropping some new titles. You know, you have your talent search, but something else that really it touched me because it's so refreshing to see is that uh, you created the comic book retailer COVID-19 relief fund,
Mm-hmm.
where you establish a GoFundMe to be evenly distributed for retailers in need during this time. And you guys raised nearly $13,000, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just really remarkable and commendable for your guys' efforts.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, we try to do our part. I think, again, the comic book industry is very small. I think that everybody has to do their part. The retailers, again, they're the heart of the industry because comics are all about community. It's all about a place where you can interact with your peers, with people that think like you, that love you the same characters, love sequential art. Those places also host role-playing games, whatever. I mean, it's. I grew up with that stuff, and I remember, I mean, meeting great
Sure.
people, hanging out with a bunch of my friends there, and I want that for my kids. I really want that for my kids. So when this unfortunate event hit, we took a stand and we said, listen, we have to try to do our part. We wish that it would have been more, that we could raise more capital to try to at least relieve a couple of their stress that I know that this situation has brought a lot of people, not only for the industry, but for the entire world as a whole. So we wanted to do our part, Jason, and I think that we did pretty well. And basically, a lot of people, I'm astonished at how people are so generous and are willing to actually and care for this industry. So yeah, we might have taken the initiative, but it was really the people that donated to the GoFundMe that were able to alleviate a lot of the stress for 85 retailers who signed up for the program that we started. So those checks were mailed 2 days ago. So they should be receiving on soon. Hopefully, can make a little difference.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, it makes a huge difference, and also what you've really seen during this shutdown, along with your COVID-19 relief fund and the whatever the hashtag Jim Lee was doing, and artists for
Yeah.
retailers or something, and uh, what it's really shown is the heart of the comic book industry as a community, as well as the fandom, how much that it means to them that their conventions aren't here. We're doing virtual events.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at creative ways to, we can't do interviews in person, at conventions, we're doing Zoom interviews, so it's a creative group of individuals as
Mm-hmm.
well as you really saw and been able to witness the the love the people in this industry, whether you're fans, collectors, new to the industry, veterans, retailers, uh, anywhere in the spectrum, that it's a real community feeling, and it's been great to see people pull together in a time where it's easy to be divided.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to agree, Jason. And it was great to see people were not willing to let the industry fail or even mutate into something else. And again, things are going to start picking up, and hopefully all this thing will be just will be in the past. We'll
Yeah,
see.
it's a great thing too, because we're talking over 80 years. This
Yeah,
industry's been going on,
yeah.
and this was a real test for the industry, how the retailer market would be affected, and very promising, and not quite the chaos that originally was around once Diamond announced they were shutting their doors. But
Yeah,
so fortunately, everything's on the right path, the road to recovery, I guess, for the industry.
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
Speaking of comic shops, do you have a local comic shop that you visit, that you have set up with either a pull box or your go-to store?
Yeah, we have a bunch here in well, that are, let's say, local. There are a lot in we have Tate's, we have Corca Comics, we have Multiversity Comics. Those are basically like our three top stores, well, the ones that I visit. We have also Gauntlet and A&M. Those are basically like my go-to stores. Um, Not as many as other towns, like for example in LA, that you have an extensive, wide range of comic book shops from they're so nice that look like really boutiques that they're missing
Oh,
is like
sure.
a beautiful coffee or a nice sandwich to everything. So we have just a few here. For I wish that we had more.
Okay, well, reason that I bring this up is one of the things that we're doing in with these Zoom interview features
Mm-hmm.
is Pop Cult HQ is making a $20 donation to a comic book store in your
Oh,
name for
okay.
being with us to help support them, but also to give a little back to this industry that we know is essential,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously you do as well.
Oh,
So
cool.
we'd like to make a $20 donation to a store in your name.
Okay.
So we can talk after this, and we'll decide on something, because
Perfect.
you do have a number of them. It's not everyone has that luxury, man. I'm up here
No,
in
but
Lake.
no.
I'm in here in Lake Tahoe, and I have two somewhat close: Carson City, Nevada, and
Okay.
Reno. But
Wow.
both are still at least a half 30-40 minute drive. Not real close, um, but glad to hear
Mm-hmm.
things are going so well with Mad Cave Studios. Looks like you guys have some great titles on the line coming up down the road here in October and November. Uh, excited for what you guys are doing, Mark. Anything else you want to make sure you get thrown out there? Anything that maybe I missed, a certain date or something that you wanted to make sure people were aware of?
No, Jason, I think that thank you again. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, it's great to have the opportunity to showcase the publisher, what we're doing, what we're thinking of doing. And if I can just say one last thing is guys, support your local comic book shops as much as you can, and buy and read a lot of comics.
There you go. That's good advice. That's good advice. Take that to the grave with you. I love it.
Yes.
Mark London, thanks so much for being with us, and you have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.